So I've just added the rest of the copy that's supposed to be on the center spread. So everything is there now. And I have styles for everything. I have those character styles set up. I have a couple extra styles here that I don't want, so I can just select them and delete them. Or I can also do quickly, I can go load, select all unused. No, I do somehow have them all used. Weird. Oops. I don't know why. Ah, that was weird. Okay, well that was the wrong. Somehow. Oh, okay, I'm just gonna leave them because I don't know what happened here. Okay, and then maybe I'll just add a couple of extra spaces so everything is kind of distinct from each other. Okay, so let's add some images here. Now I have a header, and then I have a subhead, and then I have another header. So it might not be nice to put an image in between those. Alternatively, I can do something. I can rearrange this to some degree, but let's just keep it for now and let's just start putting some images in there. So I'm going to get my image frame. I'm going to put a nice big image maybe just at the bottom here, and I'm going to do it to the bleed line, and I'm going to put it right at the bottom so it kind of like it gets grounded. That's kind of a word sometimes we use. Go file, place. Now you can add as many images as you want. You can design this however you want. And so let's see, I can't remember what all the images are now. Maybe that one might be a nice one. I'm going to go object fitting, fill frame proportionally. I'm going to deselect it, press W to kind of see what it looks like. That looks not bad. Now I can just, I might add one maybe. So another thing we need to do is text wraps, and I'll show you what that means in a second. So I'm going to add one here, kind of in between this subhead and this header. Now don't be nervous, don't worry that I have adding it over text here, and you're not going to be able to see the text for a second because I'm going to show you what a text wrap is. That's going to automatically bump all that text away. So I'm going to grab another image. Now maybe one that kind of looks like it's okay, kind of just floating in the middle of the page here. We've already used that one. Maybe that one. Oops. Okay, so image, object, fitting, fill frame proportionally. Now, okay, so I can't see the text. Obviously, I've covered it up with that image. So in order to kind of push that text away, I mean, there's a couple things we could do, but I want to show you how to do the kind of a way called using a text wrap. So I'm going to select the image, and I'm going to go to text wrap window. If I do not have text wrap window open, it is under window, text wrap. And I'm just going to click on this first little button here. So wrap around bounding box, and when I do that, you'll see that there's no text wrap and there's text wrap. So the text now has kind of been pushed away from the edge of the text. Now it's been pushed away based upon these values. I always want you to see, or actually I'll move this text around, or this image around, and you'll see that this image has a text wrap applied to it. So every time I move it around, it's going to move that text around it. So that's called a text wrap. Now when I do that, say next to a bullet, it's going to kind of mess up the spacing of the bullet. So we kind of want to keep it away from the bullets. But you might want to, and then as soon as we put it up near like some other real kind of text up here, you'll notice that if I zoom in a tiny bit, the text is still super close to the edge of that image. So you have to add some numbers to these values. And I like to do them independently. If I click this little link, you'll notice, and I press up, now the text gets bumped away from all sides of the image at the same value. So I always deselect that, and I just say move them independently. So for instance, maybe something like that is nice. And now every time I move this image around, that text wrap will be applied no matter where I am having the text or the image. Okay, so I like to keep them, oh, maybe if it's like that around the bullet points, that looks fine. So, and then, you know what, I'm going to move this up just a tiny bit and see what happens. You know what I can do now that I'm thinking, I see that, because I don't want obviously that subhead to be broken up. So I'm going to just actually increase the size of this frame, and I'm going to make it a bleed. And I'm actually going to, instead of just having it kind of floating in the middle of the page, I'm just going to extend the frame to touch the other image. And then I'm going to go, so then it looks like there's some kind of like glue or there's some reason why that image is there and they're kind of connected. And that, now I still have that header broken up. So, and I can't see all the text. Now I have overset text and the error appears here, and it means overset text is this when you have too much text in a box or text that you can't see in the image or the text frame. It's like now that I've created that text wrap, it's like bumped all that text down. So now it's creating that error, and now I have too much, I can't see all the text. So obviously that's not going to work. So maybe I just, what can I do? I mean, there's lots of things I can do at this point. I can decrease the size of the font. You know, doesn't, I can play with the design of this like until the very end. I don't, there's nothing to say that like once I've styled some text doesn't mean I have to keep it that way. Make sure that I'm updating my style, you know, and then maybe now maybe I want to make the subhead a bit smaller. Doesn't also have to be massive, massive. Redefine it. Press W so I can kind of see what I'm looking at. You know, I kind of want the subhead and the header to be close together. I want to be able to see those two things together. Oh, I didn't actually, what did I do here? Yeah, I want to see that header and that subhead together. So, and then maybe, let's see what I do that. You know, that's starting to look, I still have some overset text here. I can see here, there's a missing paragraph, you know, so then maybe let's see what it looks like when I do that. Maybe I want all this text to fit on 3 lines, so let me just see what that looks like. So I'm just kind of designing on the fly here. Maybe that looks better. Maybe that's big enough. And then maybe then that becomes a different font. I don't know, I'm just playing here. Maybe I track this out. Maybe increase the lighting on this one. And then here, move that down. I think this is too gappy, so I'm going to move it like that. Redefine. And then actually I'm going to do another, yeah, return. That looks better. Okay, so then I'm just getting to kind of the flow of the text to work. Now I still have all this overset text, and maybe I can, if I do that, no, I want to do it like that. Now I can, there's nothing to say that I have to have all this text on this left side of this page. So what I could do is I can just move this, press W. So all this text that I had, that paragraph, I'm going to clip it or cut it, and I'm going to put it at the top of this page. Okay, so now I have some overset text here. So there's some things that are still not quite working. So this is 10 point, this is 14 point, this is 26 point. You know, maybe I make this 9 point. 9 point is absolutely still readable. Maybe it's 9/12. Now I go redefine. Oh, because I have a style, a character style attached to that. So I'm just going to put my cursor somewhere in here, and actually that, you can see that got messed up too. So just redefine that. Okay, now I have, you know, that was going to start to look a bit better here. The bullets, 9, 9, 9. Okay, I think I still have some overset text here, so I'm going to maybe just see. No, I don't actually have overset text now, but that image and that text are too close together. So last but not least, I'm going to maybe just bring this down, this one down, because I have an extra bit of room here. I'm going to go Object, Fitting. Now you can design this however you want. You know, you can have these overlapping. You don't have to have the images like that. You don't have to have, that's kind of starting to look a little bit more design. Now, you can have images right at the bottom of the page, right? You can have 10 images. You could have images, you know, even that looks fine. You could have, I wouldn't suggest having like an image just kind of floating in the middle of the page, but if you do want to have like an image maybe stuck off this side, file place. I'm just going to grab one really quickly. I'm going to apply a text wrap. So, you know, that kind of image, actually, if it's kind of between paragraphs, it doesn't look bad. But say if it was just, and it's kind of, and it's bleeding off the edge, but if it is kind of just in the middle of the page, it kind of looks floating. Now, if you're going to do that, you'd actually use the align window to align to the spread, and you'd center it. You know, and the text wrap isn't quite right then. You need to bump text away from the edges here. Like that. You know, that image is kind of floating in the middle of the page, and it has kind of like no reason to really be there. So alternatively, I would probably like either add it to the top. Oh, and move the image within the frame. So just have it maybe at the top and have it to the, oops, have it to the center spread. Now, if I want to ensure that that is right tight to the center of the spread, I use my align window, align to spread, and then just left. Oh, I'm doing this. It's thinking it's on the other page. Align to page. I'm sorry, page. There we go. Okay. And then, you know, now it's kind of at the top of the page. It looks more grounded. It looks like obvious. It should be obviously there, as opposed to just having like images kind of just willy-nilly wherever you want. There needs to be kind of like some structure, some grounding, some placement. So make sure that you either, I would suggest either having them aligned to the page or the spread, having them either full bleed at one of the sides or two sides. You know, that looks so much better than having it just kind of in the middle of the page for no reason. You know, so if you want that many images, that's absolutely fine. I'm just going to move this up a bit so you can see more of it. You just have to kind of like fit all the text now, right? So then in that case, you might want to have, you know, you might not want to have this header. I'm just gonna cut that, and there we go. And then I'm actually going to put this in a separate text box. And I'm going to center it, meaning going like center like that. And I'm going to actually do this thing. I'm going to fit it, or I'm just going to decrease the size of the bounding box. And I'm actually going to, align it to the spread. And this has a text wrap applied to it, so it's actually interfering now with the text, so you can't actually see all the text. But now, if I want this to kind of be like a little call out, it's called a call out, so it's like a little bit of text that draws more attention to itself. I actually need to do a text wrap as well. And I need to I'm going to bump everything kind of simultaneously. So now I've done a text wrap on text, and you can see all that white space around it. Now we can be really tricky with this. So this is what technically would be called a call out. Now if I do this, I might want to change the font to be something different, so it doesn't look like the header text. The header, maybe then I would, if I want to change the color but then still be able to see what I'm looking at, I can, you know, I can select it all, but it's hard to then tell what the color looks like. So if you do that, so instead of doing it that way, you can just put your cursor anywhere within that text and make sure that type icon is selected in the swatches, and then you can, no, why isn't that working? Why isn't that working? Weird. Oh, I just have to have it selected, not the actual text itself, but just the text box. Yeah, so that's how you would do that. You know, I can do anything and everything to this. I can make this a different tint, make it lighter. If I wanted to colorize the frame itself, click on that little box. Now, when you do that, you'll notice that there is a lot, no space between the text and the font, so it's like way too tight. If I zoom in a bit, it's like way too tight. It's not really good to do that. Alternatively, what I would do is I would draw an extra frame here. Now there's a text wrap attached to that text. And I'm just gonna, and then I'm actually gonna, because I drew the rectangle after that text, so I need to change the layer order. Oh, it's actually working fine. If I select both of those now and align them center to the spread, that's what I want to see now. Okay, if I want to be super tricky, I can select both of those and go align to each other. So, and then I can center that. Okay. So that's kind of a call out. There's another way to do that. I wasn't planning to show you this, but I can also just colorize the text box itself. But this one you have to be very careful about because you have that like no extra space around the text. So what you do is you actually go to kind of move the text away from the edge of the frame, is you do this thing called, it's under object. Text frame options. I don't know why it's not under text, but it's text frame options. Control B. Text frame. It's again. I don't know why it's not under type because it's a type thing, but it's they put it under object. Text frame options or Control B, and then I'm going to ignore the text wrap actually because I actually have a text wrap on there. I'm going to preview it, and this is where you create a little bit of spacing. So here. Increase. So that's where you'd add like a little bit of extra space around the text and the bounding box. Now, because I have a font that's quite big and bold, it's when I increase the spacing, it obviously then creates now some overset text. So I'd have to change the size of the font. So I'm going to do that. Just press OK. And I'm actually just going to select all this and just decrease the size of this font. There. Okay. And then I can see that it's not quite centered. So I'm going to go Control B again, or Object, Text Frame Options, and just unlink that and just move it down a bit. There's another way to do this too. Oh yeah, no, I'm forgetting how to do this actually. Auto size, no. Yeah, just there. It's not quite centered though, is it? Oh, align to center. That's it. That's what I want to do. Center alignment, and that will automatically align it to the center of that frame. Okay, so that's kind of a little call out. And now, do I have overset text? I can. What other text is supposed to be there? Oh yeah, that's where we now have. I can put probably this copy back on this side of the page. That makes more sense. And then. Yeah, and then I still have, if that's extra, we don't need that one. Just want to get all the text in there. I can have it like that. I can have it like that. Now I've messed up the bullets here, but that doesn't actually look too bad. They look pretty fairly aligned, but I still have some overset text here. So I'm going to just decrease that. Maybe. One thing I could do, let's see how I can get this all to fit. So now this is kind of a fitting issue. Because I have some extra text here, don't I? Yeah, I have all that. So maybe I just decrease the image frame. So maybe that works best. And I'm kind of not loving that right there. I might want to do it like there. Now that bumped the text again. So I'm not really loving that either. Maybe, is there an extra space there? I could do that. That might work better. Not having that extra space, but it's inconsistent, but that's something you could do. But then now at least I get all of the text in there. Now I don't have consistent spacing now between the subheads and the copy. So alternatively, I could, let's see what I could do. I could just decrease this again. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, something like that. And then I want to see a little bit more of her face. So let me bring that down a bit more. Okay, so I have 3 images in there. I have kind of consistent alignment, structure. I can see all the text. Last but not least, I'm feeling like now I have this. Oh yeah, I didn't object fit that one properly. There, that's what I kind of want to see. Okay, so the next video we're going to do the back of the, so we did text wraps in this, we got all the images in the center spreads, and so the last few videos are going to be about getting that back page done, that form. Actually, I see one little thing that's bugging me. I'm going to get rid of, in the copy, I have hyphens, so I'm just going to select that that style and uncheck hyphenate, and that will get rid of those hyphens. So everything's still fitting, voila. And you know, at this point, please save. I haven't saved. I should have saved 20 minutes ago. So this is Perone brochure. Okay, next video, we're going to do the back of the card.